Jordan, I'm just really excited that you're going to come and compete at our school. I know you're from the area, so it's going to be very exciting for you. And I think it's going to be fun just to compete in this different atmosphere together.
I am so excited to finally be able to compete with you. It's been a very long time. Obviously, the last time we saw each other was on tour, and you have been doing so amazing. I want you to go out there just like we did in Tokyo, and let's just have fun and enjoy each other. And I really miss you.
That's great. Now competing against each other here in Corvallis, Jordan Childs and Jade Carey, joining the likes of Samantha Peshek, Kyla Ross, Madison Koshin of UCLA, Michaela Skinner of Utah, Grace McCallum, their teammate in Tokyo, now with Utah, Suni Lee at Auburn.
Yeah, just so incredible to see these Olympians continue their career and develop their gymnastics in a different way in college. You know, Jordan and Jade spent so much time together last year between the training camps, the time together in Tokyo when no families, no fans, you're just spending so much time with your team, and then participating in the Gold Over America Tour together. They spent quite a bit of time together in 2021, so it's great to see them on the floor today.
They didn't join their teams until December after the Gold Over America Tour, and both coaches talk about how well these two integrated with their teammates. And Jade Carey, in fact, she stayed in touch with her teammates and got the same conditioning routines that they were doing, so that she was doing the same things at the same time, even though she was on the tour.
Right. Coach Chaplin talked about Jade's dedication to her team and showing, you know, that she was a member from afar, really has assimilated well. And, you know, to that point about them joining late, they had to recraft all of their routines, obviously not vault, but Tanya was talking about how, you know, it's such a different mindset from elite, where the difficulty score there, you're trying to fill as many moves as you can in those routines, where in college it's about what can you do perfectly. And so thus far it looks like Jade's routine crafting has done very well. And, you know, I'm excited to see Jordan add further events and as we progress this season.
Yeah, this is just the second week for each of these two schools. Each of them had their first week canceled. The Collegiate Challenge down in Anaheim, they had to pull out. 49-175 for each in the first rotation. Now the Beavers will head to the uneven bars, and the Bruins will go to the vault. Emma Malabuyo will start matters off on vault for UCLA, and they have 3 with a 10-0 start value, including Kendall Poston, who will go second.
And Emma is the other Team USA member. She was an alternate for the Olympic team in Tokyo.
And Acre of Utah, also an alternate, and Leanne Wong at Florida. So those team members peppering colleges across the country.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget the Canadian Olympians that we have. Brooklyn Moores, will see her in the vault lineup as well.
She'll be up 4th. In the meantime, Emma Malabuyo first, 5-time U.S. national team member. Led off on vault in her first ever collegiate meet last week and carded at 9.725.
And she will do a Yurchenko full. She competed a Yurchenko double in elite.
At a 9.8 on bars.
Very nice vault. Piked down a bit and hopped back. I will reiterate that pike down. There are so few deductions to take on vault, and that is one of the most prominent that you will see as the gymnasts try to find the stick.
Now Colette Yamaoka will start it off for Oregon State. She's a graduate senior, missed all of last season with a knee injury. Did serve as the secretary of Oregon State Student Athlete Athletic Council, and she walked onto the Oregon State team in the fall of 2017. She reached out to them at the end of September after practice had begun, said she was a student at Oregon State, asked for a tryout. They'd never heard of her. They normally wouldn't do that, but they agreed. She tried out for Michael Chaplin. He said to the other coaches, guys, you better get in here and see this.
I mean, so impressive, some of the skills. She started off with that Maloney to bail. Last week, she went a little too aggressive and fell over on that bail. Coach Chaplin said that's okay for the first week.
How challenging is it with the knee brace?
You know, on bars, it sort of depends. It's about that landing for her, which she has just a little bit of a hop forward, sort of slung that dismount out. You want to see it rise a little bit more and drop in for a more controlled landing.
9-7 from Malabuyo. And now Poston. Good routine on bars for Colette Yamaoka. Good bounce back from last week. Now Poston struggled with her first vault of the season in the opening week, putting up just a 9.075. Been a regular in the vault and beam lineups for the past couple of seasons, and part of the Bruins national championship team in 2018, though she only exhibition that year.
And I can usually tell by her position on the board how the vault is going to go. And she lands on her feet. Her chest was down pretty far. She tends to hit the board towards the back. The springs don't extend to the back of the board. And so as you'll see her hit the middle of the board and just explode the block. You see she's on the back there, and this doesn't have quite the repulsion, but that 10-0 vault, that front pike half, something the judges love to see because it's a little different than your Chenko full.
So a couple of vaults out of the way for UCLA. 9-7 for Colette Yamaoka. Only time we'll see her today. And now here's Maddie Dagan. Dagan had a 9.775 on vault.
What a story to see Maddie Dagan in this bars lineup. She has worked incredibly hard with Coach Michael Chaplin, the bars coach, to get a 10-0 start value and to get this Tkachev that she'll start with right off the top. Nicely done, caught a little bit close. Her score was low last week because she missed some of the handstands. So far, I would say she's, you know, not quite within 10 degrees on all of those.
Just a 9.55 last week, a regular in 3 lineups.
And unfortunately, on that bail, doesn't quite complete the turn such that she'll be able to connect it right into that dismount. So she'll get the deduction for the extra swing. She'll miss the connection value. First, that's that Tkachev. You see she caught it a little bit close. Does a good job to maintain form.
Always wanted to be a strong all-arounder. If she gets used to that new routine this year, her scores are going to go up.
Definitely.
9.65 for Poston, and now Nora Flatley.
Now last week, after Margzetta Frazier was injured on bars, Nora subbed in for her on vault. She hasn't vaulted much at all. She was injured during UCLA's opening meet last season and is really vaulting for the first time since her freshman year.
9.75 in her first vault since 2019. Matched her career high last week.
Wow, nice and clean. You wouldn't be able to tell that she hasn't been vaulting for a few years, but has battled all sorts of injuries. So really great to see her in the all-around lineup in her senior year.
Missed the entire regular season last year, injuring her ankle in warm-ups for the season opener. And Nora Flatley is back.
One of many elites on the UCLA team.
Jenna Domingo for Oregon State, awaiting the score of Maddie Dagan. See Domingo on bars and beam. Wasn't in the bars lineup last week. She exhibitioned 8 times on bars 2 years ago as a freshman, but never officially competed. Last year competed on bars 4 times with a high of 9.675.
And she'll start off with a big release move here called a ray. After her toe on, Tkachev to an overshoot. Nice connection, a little bit of foot form. But a great job thus far. She'll do a front giant half just right on top of the bar. And a little hop back though.
9.675 was her high last year. Figure that beats that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, really great difficulty start to finish. But you see, out of that front giant on the half turn, she just held on the top of the bar. Nice job squeezing the abs to maintain that handstand.
9.825 for Nora Flatley. They were better than her 9.75 last week. And now Brooklyn Moores in Tokyo last summer as a member of the Canadian Olympic team.
She will do another front pike vault. Does the front pike half. Unfortunately, lands a little bit low. Has to take a pretty big step forward. Was having some struggles in warm-up. Had a pretty her block. Her legs and shoulders weren't in the quite right position on the block. It's a great another 10-0 start value, obviously, in their lineup, and some diversity of vaults, but they're going to hope to drop that score.
Kayla Bird for Oregon State. Jenna Domingo had a 9.8, so more than a tenth better than her previous career high.
I really like this combination that Kayla will start with. She'll do a bail handstand, immediate stalter, a nice, unique connection, and then she'll do her Tkachev in the latter half of her routine. And wow, throws it up.
Great height.
Great height. Lacks a little bit of the rotation, which is why she sort of died at the bottom of that swing. But a great full twisting double back. I love the routine composition there is unique. And we'll see this Tkachev again. So fantastic height. You want to see her turn over her hips a little bit more so that she can generate easy swing out of that release move.
9.65 for Moores, and now here's our final look in competition of the day. Of Jordan Childs had a 9.925 on bars. Struggled with her first collegiate vault last week when her hand slipped on her double twisting Yurchenko, and she carded the 9.275.
And you'll see her vault prowess on display as she'll do this Katsumatsu full, so a different look. She'll do a quarter twist onto the vault and then a full twist off. Nicely done, and just a small half back. It has been quite a while since she has competed that vault. When they decided her Olympic vault was going to be the Yurchenko double, and that she was not going to attempt to have a second vault in elite. They ask you to do vaults from 2 families, so that's the second family vault. She did there really well.
Yep, differences between college gymnastics and international gymnastics, and one is that there are no D scores, no difficulty scores. Kayla Bird had a 9.75 on bars, and now our first look at Phoebe Jakubczyk.
She'll do a great combination here. Yazova down to the low bar, and Maloney back up. And then here's her in-bar Ginger, same as Jordan Childs, beautifully done. A little shy on that handstand, but ooh, does an Arabian double front. That's called a Fontaine. The unique moves in that routine were just fantastic. And you know, last week the mat was actually in too close and she clipped her heels. Let's take a look at this. So she does a half turn and then 2 front flips after, and you know, I thought she swung that out a little too far, but she did a fantastic job rotating and just the smallest deduction on that landing.
Now Shea Campbell, yeah, clutch routine for Jakubczyk on bars. Now Shea Campbell, who had a 9.7 on bars, put up a team leading 9.9 on vaults last week at the Minnesota Tri-Meet.
And she is capable of a perfect 9.95. She has scored that before. That one she'll get a little deduction on for those steps forward. Sometimes you try a little too hard for the stick, but the body position in the air and the flare out at the end really distinguish this vault from others.
Career high 9.95 last March. Perfect score on her Yurchenko full. And now here's Jade Carey. After the 9.8 by Jakubczyk, Carey had a 9.9 on vault. Last week on bars, Her first collegiate routine carved a 9.95 to win the bars title by a wide margin of .075. Matched the best score in the nation over the season's first 2 weeks.
And does a super difficult connection there, the Maloney to the Bahardwaj. And then a Van Leeuwen. It's about half of the bar routine she did for the Olympics. And she'll do the same dismount here, a touch full out. Gorgeous landing. That was basically a carbon copy of her routine last week, which really talks about her consistency, which is something Tanya Chaplin just could not stop talking about.
Been waiting a long time after deferring for 3 years. Jade Carey is an Oregon State Beaver and Olympic gold medalist. 2 rotations in the books.